with what Biden wants to do, when you die, roughly 60% of the value is going to go to the IRS.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, that's what they want. They want like over half of your life effort.
Welcome to Retirement Today. I'm your co-host, Zach Holcomb, and alongside me, we have Michael Reese, certified financial planner, retirement planning expert, and founder and president of Centennial Advisors, located right here in beautiful Austin, Texas. Mike, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, as always, I am a happy camper. Although last week I was ranting a little bit. I'm not happy with this tax conversation going on in Washington, D.C. You know, every time taxes come up, Zach, I just get a little energized, right?
Mike gets a little heated, especially when we talk about taxes and the government, all that great stuff. You love it, right?
I think I actually got bleeped out last week, didn't I?
I know, and you made some growling noises too, and they bleeped it too. I don't know what our studio's doing.
Well, anyway, I know this week we want to talk about, oh boy, this could get a little crazy again, right? Because we do want to talk about investing, but I think we want to talk about taxes as well or something. Do you want to lay that out for us, Zach?
Yeah. So, from quite a few of our listeners lately, they really like when we talk about taxes, but more specifically when we talk about how it affects your investments specifically. And a lot of people, they really aren't hearing that discussion from, on TV, from their investment advisors. They're not hearing about how these two come together.
Yeah, it's true that the mass financial media, boy, they love to talk about investing, right? And if you talk to your typical financial person, what are they going to tell you? I can reduce your risk. I can get you higher returns. And that's all they want to talk about. It's like they're all the same. Yet, what they commonly ignore is how, what do they say? It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Right.
What good is making a big rate of return if you're going to turn around and just give it to the IRS anyway?
Yeah, writing us the big check. Nobody wants to do that.
Exactly. So, in our office, Zach, you know this. We talk about having a prosperity planning system. Now, this is a system that helps you make smart financial choices so that you can live that prosperous financial life. You want to enjoy the 3 C's. You want to feel like you have control of your finances. That includes your taxes. You want to feel like you have confidence, the second C, that you're making the right financial decisions. And third, you want the comfort and peace of mind of knowing that no matter what the tax code throws your way, no matter what the market throws your way, and guess what? Your health is going to change. Shouldn't matter financially. You want to have that comfort and peace of mind that you're going to be in great shape no matter what. And this topic, how taxes and investing, how they really work together, I think that's really important because I do agree with you, Zach, that a lot of people, they think about investing, but they don't think about how taxes affect things.
Right. And I think a lot of people avoid this discussion because it's not so simple. There's a lot of different things you got to look at when looking at taxes with your investments.
Yeah, you have to be, actually you have to spend time as an advisor educating yourself, which is work. Heads up, all of you out there in Radio Land, financial advisors are like anybody else. They want to be really good at what they do, but at the same time, it's very common that they don't want to put in the extra effort. I mean, people at your workplace just like that, I'm sure. But tax planning, that's complicated. And it's always changing. So it's a lot of work to keep up on it. This kind of goes back to, we talk about how there are 3 levels of financial advisors.
Right, like the pyramid, right?
That's right. So at the base level, you have custodians, the product providers, and this is like the natural progression that we talk about, Zach, where you start out like, Zach, you're 27 years old, you invest in a 401k.
Right.
And your financial advice or investment advice you get right now is, you go to your 401k platform here at the office. They have like a little quiz to help you structure your investments.
Yep.
You go through the quiz, you're done.
Yep, and I'm 27, so it's ultra aggressive. That's what my level is.
Good,
yeah.
I like that.
Yes.
That's just what I want to hear.
Yes.
But it's a limited level of help. And then eventually, that's level 1. Level 2 is, let's say you're growing and growing, and next thing you know, you look at your statement, you're like, holy cow, I've kind of got quite a bit of money here. Back when you had, say, $40,000 in your account, if you lost 50%, that's $20,000. You're like, well, gee, I make more than that. Not
Sure.
a big deal. But if you get up to 400,000 in your account and you lose half because the market crashes, that's a lot bigger number.
Yeah, I'm going to be uncomfortable with that.
So that's when natural progression, you start getting a pretty decent amount of money and you move to a level 2 advisor. You're looking for typically an investment advisor, someone who can help you make better choices with your investments. So maybe you're not risking so much, but you still want to capture those good returns.
Sure.
And that's great as far as it goes. But then, you start getting more and more money. And now this is where people get stuck a lot of times because they've been working with this level 2 advisor for years and they really like them because they're a good person.
Sure.
Right? They've done a good job on the investment side. They've protected you a little bit in the down markets. You've made some pretty good money in the up markets. You can, okay, that's great. But then you start realizing that you have some other questions. You have questions like, well, wait a minute. How are taxes really going to affect me as I get older? What about health care? How is that? Like if my health deteriorates, what am I going to do about that? What am I supposed to do with my estate planning anyway? Do I need a trust? When should I be taking Social Security?
Got to have an income plan.
Yeah. What's my income going to look? How do I make work optional?
Yep.
Right. These are all questions that an investment advisor, they don't really have the tools or the expertise to deal with. And that's when you realize, maybe I need to move up to the top of the pyramid, the level 3 advisors. Level 3 advisors are holistic planners, the true holistic comprehensive planners. And that's what we do at Centennial Advisors, right? Where we help people make great financial choices, not just with their investing, but tax planning, estate planning, healthcare planning, income planning, and really, how do those all intertwine? How do they all come together in a comprehensive whole? And I know, Zach, what you've been saying is lately, it seems like we've been getting a lot of calls from our listeners who are saying, I mean, really, that's what it falls down to, right? They're saying, hey, we've got these really good people at level 2 advisors, but they're starting to recognize they need help on taxes. They need help on other areas. They're not getting that help.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And taxes more than anything. That's usually the big selling point and kicker for a lot of these people listening. They're like, holy cow, these taxes are going to kill me in retirement, and nobody's been talking to me about this.
And it's in the news.
Yep.
Right? Taxes are in the news. Oh, here we go. You're going to get me all red in the face again. I was reading this article, and they were saying, like, if you own a business or you own a ranch or you own farmland, with what Biden wants to do, when you die, roughly 60% of the value is going to go to the IRS.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, that's what they want. They want like over half of your life effort. Like, let's say you start a company and you're actually, how dare you? You're actually successful.
Right.
Right. Or you're, let's say you have a ranch, farmland. How dare you actually make good investments and the property goes up in value? It's like you're from the Biden administration, you are evil and you're the wealthy and you must give all your money to us so we can redistribute it in a manner that they see.
Right. It seems like doing the right thing and making the right decisions tax-wise ends up hurting you for a lot of people.
Yeah, if you make the right investment
Correct.
decisions,
Yeah.
the right savings decisions, then the problem, it's like I say, usually when people are getting to the point where work is optional, they have one of two issues. Either one, they're worried that they don't have enough money to last. Right? And that's a very real concern for a lot of people. But if you've saved a pretty decent amount of money, if you've done what you're supposed to do, saved your money, you're a good saver, invested properly, your problem is not, will your money last? Your problem is, how do you protect yourself from invasive, and I mean invasive taxation from the IRS? How do you keep what you've worked so hard to build for yourself, your family, your loved ones, and not fork it over to the IRS? Like, how do you do that? If you're the kind of person out there, let's imagine you're this person. You say, gosh, Zach, I've saved a pretty good amount of money. And yeah, I'm starting to really worry about taxes. Maybe you have an advisor. Your advisor never really talks about taxes. Then what I want to do is I want to invite you to give us a call. And let me tell you why you want to give us a call. So the other day, I had a couple come in. They had about $1.5 million saved for retirement, almost all of it in their 401k. Do you know that I was able to show them how they could save over $4 $400,000 of tax over their lifetime.
It's a game-changing amount in retirement.
That's huge. Over $400,000 of tax saved. Listen, if you saved a pretty good amount in retirement, you got to understand taxes are going to be horrible for you once you get to the other side of work. You get into retirement, taxes are going to get really ugly. And the good news is that there are tax strategies available where if we have a conversation, odds are extraordinarily high that I can make it so worth your time that you'll just get off the call and you'll be like, holy cow, I'm so glad I called. So if you're worried about taxes, you're a good saver, right? You've saved a good amount of money. You've made some pretty good investment options, but now you're thinking, man, what about the tax piece? How do I keep what I've worked so hard to build? Then you want to give us a call, right? Zach, what number do they want to call?
You want to reach out to us at 512-886-5850. Again, that number is 512-886-5850. When you give us a call, it's just a brief opportunity to set up a 15-minute call with our team. We'll learn a little bit about your situation, what's important to you, and what you're looking to get out of a conversation with our team. Hi, and thanks for checking out Retirement Today. If you like the content we share on our channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay notified about all of our latest content and videos. Be sure to share all of our information with your friends and family as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.